All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, we are back again on the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, today's blockbuster news is all about Conor Gallagher. We're going to have a very, very good discussion about this. I definitely want to know your thoughts, undoubtedly. But this is the headline from football.london. If you're not following that publication, I suggest you do. They do write up a lot of Chelsea news and very interesting sort of topics as well. So as you can see, the headline, Thomas Tuchel told he already has the answer to Chelsea's midfield problem. I didn't know if we actually had a midfield problem, but apparently it seems like this is what the journalists out there are saying, that we have a midfield problem. But and it seems like the answer is Conor Gallagher. Now, I definitely want to say that this boy is a very, very good player. So far for Crystal Palace, he's been doing really well in the loan spell. It's still early in the loan spell, but the signs are there that he's going to probably have a solid season, hopefully. So far, what he has done, it's been brilliant. And we're going to dig deep into this and really try and understand, and then ask ourselves the question, does he actually have a career at Chelsea? Is there a possibility? Is there a chance? We're going to try and answer that. And as I said, yes, it is early. There's so much that can happen. We'll touch on all of that for sure. But before we do that, these are some of the tweets that have been coming out. So this is what Patrick Vieira had to say about Conor Gallagher in recent times, I believe straight after the Brighton game. He has got the ability to remain calm inside the box. He's a really good finisher, has got a lot of energy and works really hard for the team. When he's in that kind of situation, he will score goals for us. Now, I'm not sure how many matches you guys have seen, ladies and gentlemen, of Conor Gallagher in Crystal Palace. I've watched Crystal Palace versus Spurs, and I obviously watched Crystal Palace versus us, but obviously he couldn't play that match against us. Especially the Spurs one. I watched that entire match, and he was phenomenal in that match. He absolutely ate up Spurs. Actually, I even watched the West Ham game, and he was brilliant in that game as well. He scored 2 goals there. So this particular comment from Patrick Vieira is bang on. Lots of energy. Yeah, has that ability to score goals inside the box. So that calmness, I do agree with that. And his intensity, definitely he can work. He's got an engine non-stop. But let's just hold that thought for a moment. Let's continue on. This is what Thierry Henry had to say post that Brighton game. He's got massive praise about Conor Gallagher. This is what he said. Everything. Thierry Henry asked what he liked about Gallagher. He started with everything. The way he puts pressure, the way he makes his team play, he makes the box. He has an eye for goal at the minute. He's way higher than when he's used to play for West Brom on loan from Chelsea, which is true. I think his West Brom loan was very good indeed. But this one seems like is getting even better, which is exactly what you want to see from a player, young player, just getting better and better in their development. So this is a very, very true statement from Thierry Henry that he has gotten better from the West Brom days. He continues on to say, I think he's a player that loves to be unleashed. So let him go and put pressure, let him go and play, let him go and tackle. I thought he was outstanding. Now, once again, all of these things kind of makes me think that, off the ball, go and press high, tackle, win the ball up front. Kind of gives me that Mason Mount kind of vibe that he has that similar sort of attribute. Now, obviously, we've seen the comments from Patrick Vieira. We've seen high praise from Thierry Henry as well. Now let's get to the bottom of whether Conor Gallagher actually would make it to Chelsea, actually would fit in Thomas Tuchel's style, if Thomas Tuchel is still to be the manager for next year. God knows what can happen at Chelsea. I personally pray that Thomas Tuchel stays and has a successful season this season. But if Conor Gallagher was to have a very good season for me, he needs to put in goals as well. He needs to, that's the key factor for me. If he can bang in goals, that's something that our midfield doesn't have. And so far, he's got 2 goals against West Ham, and they were very good goals, actually. Had a chance against Spurs, but then ended up getting that penalty, which obviously started that rot for Spurs in that particular game. But yeah, for me, goals is what's going to be the difference maker if he was to make it back into Chelsea. But I do want to delve a little bit deeper into this situation. Now, this is the Who scored, rating for that game against Brighton. Gallagher got a 6.7, as you can see over here, and looks like he was fairly decent across the board against his own team and also the opposition. The highest rating was 7.1, looks like, 7.3 from, Veltman, 8. So more or less an average game, which is fine. But these are the stats for Conor Gallagher. Now, 90 minutes versus Brentford, 2 shots, 80% passing accuracy, aerials 1-1, West Ham 2-2, 90 minutes, 96 passing percentage, which is fantastic. 3 aerial duels, 1. Spurs 90 minutes, 1 assist, 6 shots, 76%, 81% against Liverpool in terms of passing, 78% against Brighton. I want to show you a couple of defensive stats. 4 tackles against Spurs, 3 tackles against Brentford, 2 against Brighton. Not really sure what this means. Interception is 1, 2 against Brentford. Let's have a look at some offensive stats. West Ham, 2 goals, obviously 1 assist there for Spurs, 6 shots against Spurs, key passes, 3 against Spurs, 2 against Liverpool, 1 against West Ham. So he's got that attribute. Now, I just want to quickly, and I'm not comparing this, I just want to show you what is actually needed at Chelsea. So have a look at his passing stats. He's got about 33 passes, 27 passes against. These are fairly low, and it kind of gives me that indication Crystal Palace is not a particular team that enjoys a lot of possession, and the other factor is, Conor Gallagher is not someone that plays with possession a lot. Off the ball work is fantastic. And I guess at the end of the day, it all comes down to what you actually get out of the possession as well, which is true. But at Chelsea, and once again, I'm not comparing this with Mateo Kovacic, but I just got his stats out just to show you the amount of ball Chelsea has, in terms of possession. This is something that Conor Gallagher would have to get used to. Look at Mateo Kovacic against Crystal Palace, 78 passes, 97% passing accuracy. Arsenal, 69 passes. Liverpool, obviously, we had that man down and his passing was less, which is absolutely makes sense. In the second half, we were literally just without the ball. 74 passes against Aston Villa, 60 passes against Spurs, and against Man City, obviously, we played so deep. Even then, 81%, 88% against Tottenham, 83% against Aston Villa, 91%, it's just incredible, the passing. And this is something I feel it's going to be a huge, huge change for Conor Gallagher, because so far he's played for West Brom and he's played for Crystal Palace. I'm pretty sure they're probably the same sort of stats in terms of the number of passes he makes per game. As you can see, none of them has been over 50, let alone 60s and in some instances close to 80s for Kovacic. And this is something in midfield probably Conor Gallagher would have to do. Now, it depends on how much once again, as I said, this is probably not the best comparison, and I don't want to compare this. I just want to give that indication. Probably Mason Mount is a better indication, but I'm sure even Mason Mount has a higher percentages of passes per game because of the amount of possession we control. Now, going back to the question, will Conor Gallagher make it? My personal view is, I don't know if he can. As I said, goals. If he bangs in enough goals for Crystal Palace, that's the only way I feel that he can break into. I know he's got a lot of, he's got that pressing ability, the energy, that engine. but he gives me Mason Mount vibe, and I don't know whether he's going to be replacing Mason Mount. So we've already got Mason Mount, who plays a hell of a lot of games, so I don't expect him to be replaced at all. Then you've got all sorts of other styles of midfielders that we already have: Kante, Kovacic, Jorginho, and we've seen Conor Gallagher in the preseason for us. Given that one particular game, I can't remember, I think it might have been Bournemouth, where he did play as a lone DM and he looked out of sorts. He's a classic 8, so there's no way he could ever do Jorginho's role as a lone DM, and I don't think he wants to do that. So he's a classic 8, box to box. We've got Ruben Loftus-Cheek slowly rising. We'll see where this goes. Obviously, with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, we are touted with other, midfielders in the likes of Declan Rice, Shermani, Jude Bellingham in recent times as well. Billy Gilmour is still on loan with Norwich. Now you can say Billy's probably a replacement for Jorginho if Jorginho was to move on at the end of this season or a couple of more seasons. But still, players like Kante and Kovacic, Kante specifically, there's talks about contract extensions with him. So we don't know, when he's going to leave. Most of the fan base don't want him to leave. So bottom line, guys, I really don't know whether Conor Gallagher is actually going to make it at Chelsea. I think we're hoping that he has a very, very good season. And as I said, goals will be the deal breaker. If he scores anywhere up to 10 goals in this season, he will then put a strong case to break into this Chelsea team, even as a rotational player. But if there's not enough goals and he produces the same thing, I don't think he makes it to Chelsea. I love the kind of loan that he's having at Palace, and I hope he keeps smashing it. At the end of the day, I think he's just going to be sold. If he does well, Palace will probably come in and will probably cash in on some money over here, 30, 35 million, who knows, maybe even 40 million, who knows. We'll see. But approximately about 30 to 30 million is what I'm thinking. So that's my verdict, ladies and gentlemen. I know a lot of people out there getting gassed and getting really excited about him, and we should be getting excited. But I personally don't think he's going to make it at Chelsea. As I said, the deal breaker is goals. If he bangs in goals, then perhaps. But let me know what your thoughts are, ladies and gentlemen, on this particular topic. I would love to hear whether you think, if he has a great season, if he does have an opportunity to come back to Chelsea, can he actually break into the team that we already have? I would love to know what you think about it. If you've enjoyed this video, smash the like button. It helps the channel out a lot. I cannot stress enough how much it helps out. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe. We are racing towards 8,000 subscribers, almost about 225 away. So let's get there. And hit the bell notification to keep in touch with all my content. I'm going to try and produce these sort of smaller videos on a regular basis. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Until next time, see ya.